Donald Trump did not do nothing that weekend. He did go to the big Turning Point annual conference, and here's a bit of his speech.
That was only the beginning. With your support in 2024, we are going to put America first like never before, and we are going to finish the job that we so successfully started. You know, many people, it was 4 years, but many people say it was one of the most successful presidencies ever. Some people say it was the most successful presidency. When I get back into the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. They will be obliterated.
I don't know, some of it, again, I voted for him and I like him in a lot of respects. It's starting to seem like this rerun that I've seen a million times before. But Bryan, this concept of that he'll get the deep state this time. Look, he did a pretty freaking good job as president, especially those first 2.5 years. But in the end, he did award Fauci on the way out. The deep state seemed to have gotten him as a former 3-letter guy in the CIA. Do you think he knows what he's up against? Does anyone really know what he's up against?
Well, I don't think he knew.
Or any of these guys.
Yeah, fair. Look, I think in 2016, he certainly didn't know. I think the folks around him didn't have any understanding of how bad it was going to be. And then he was basically thrown into the wood chipper by these guys at the FBI, the agency, and others. And so I think that he's been pretty burned pretty heavily. I think everybody in the country knows how bad those organizations have got, those mid-level, those senior-level individuals, the James Comeys, the Christopher Wrays now. We've got some more reports from inspector generals and special counsels that said these guys are up to no good. So I think that there is now a wind at his back for the conversation that the country has to have and has been having, that we need some pretty serious reform, and we need to toss a lot of folks out of office. So the real question is going to be, does he have the support on Capitol Hill to do that? You know, that's going to be, I think, something I'll be looking for certainly the next day after we all vote, who controls the House and the Senate, because that power of the purse is going to be very important. I know that he's looking at, and his team are looking at executive orders to toss out a lot of mid-level, folks at their will or at their whim. Maybe they'll be able to do that. I think it's called Schedule F or something. At any rate, the point is, they're looking at doing what they need to do to clean the joint up. It's got to be done. I think most of us now understand that. Does he have the congressional, backing to do that, particularly with the power of the purse? That's the part that I think really that will shape this whole conversation. Can he actually do what he's saying he wants to do?
Michael, putting aside the power of the purse and whether the Republicans have Congress and Senate and all the stuff, do you think he can staff with the right people that can do this thing? I mean, that's what I'm look, I have said this a million times, even though I obviously am supporting DeSantis. If at the end of this, Trump is president and DeSantis is my governor, I will be fine. I guarantee you I will be fine, and I will gladly vote for Trump, and that will be it. My concern with the Trump presidency at this point, though, is that he will get there and nobody is going to want to work for him for good reason.
Personnel has been a problem for Trump. He's had some real stars, but by his own admission, he's had some real clunkers in there. And so my most out-of-the-box thought, if the polls remain as they are, if Trump becomes the nominee, I know a lot of people are saying DeSantis should be VP. I think we both know neither of those guys are going to go for that arrangement. At the very least, DeSantis as chief of staff would not be the worst idea, because the real shining mark for DeSantis here is he knows personnel and he knows how to wield power, and he's done it on a smaller stage in Florida. But that would be the thing that Trump is talking about right now. How do you wield power on the personnel? And the issue is the deep state, depending on how you count the bureaucracy, just employees for the federal government, is like 2 million people. It is just so many, many people. Even under the umbrella of the DHS, you're talking about 250,000 people. And so in order to make substantial change in there, you would have to switch out 40 to 50,000 people just to start to get the engine and machinery moving in the right direction again.